When we talk about the self-reliance model, agriculture market support, but generally the livelihoods of these refugees is at our forefront.
Yeah.
The little money that we are now having, we are trying to make sure that it is channeled to make sure that the livelihoods of the refugees and the host communities are improved. Yes.
When we say that the resources are bigger, help us put it into perspective for people to understand, since you come from this office.
Yes, Bob, let me first come back to where we started from, just to give a context. As Roger has mentioned, in the refugee operation, we actually have 3 important organizations that are operating in that one. One is the UNHCR, there is the Office of the Prime Minister, and then there's WFP. We work like, the traditional 3-stoned fireplace.
Yes.
So without one, the other cannot function.
Yes,
so each one of us has a very fundamental role in terms of the refugee operation. So UNHCR is responsible for overall refugee operations in terms of protection, in terms of support, and then the government is in charge of allocating land, registration. The WFP is responsible for providing food. So none of us can exist without the other. So working in harmony on that front. Yes. Now, what you have asked about the shortage of funding, it's a real one, because I'll give you some quick examples. Before around 2019, we are supporting over 1.9 million refugees. But with funding, which came gradually, the funding started around 2020 with COVID. That's when we started facing challenges of funding. And then we used to provide 100% food rations to all refugees. 100% of the food needs.
Yes.
But now, that's on 2019. But when it came to 2020, we started facing serious shortages of funding. So we reduced it from 100 to 70%.
Yeah.
So in other words, 70% of the needs, the food needs of the household. In 2021, we reduced it from 70 to 60%. Okay, and then from that is around up to 2021 April. But from 2022 November, we put it to 60. We again maintained at 60% until today. So in other words, refugees who just come into the country, we call them new arrivals. We give them 100% of the food rations for at least 3 months. Then after 3 months, we give them 60% of the food ration for 9 months. At the end of the 9 months, which comes to 1 year, we now assess their vulnerability, and then we're able to put them in a category, whether it can be category 1 or category 2. So that is as a result of the funding challenges. Otherwise, the ration cut is not a choice. It is a necessity to cut a quote according to our own cloth. So that's the challenge we're going through because of shortage of funding. But we were trying to see how much can this little funding be stretched, at least to take us further, but also be able to meet the needs of the most vulnerable among the refugees. Because the refugee community is not homogeneous. There are those who are able, those who are very vulnerable. So that's why we categorize them and focus so much, target the most vulnerable ones.
Just before I come back to Roger, Ndugu Bwambale, now it was a chance because you are able to express yourself in this language also. Umuganda twine muhati impunji abarukurumbiro obukiiko bubiri. Tukwe kandi nambeti negumane yongera government ya Uganda negezaho kutaho buryo okurebeka ngo namununga abantu bakubasa kwejumbira mu by'ubuhinji n'uburiza babasa kujya nabo ko participating abantu bari kutura mu settlement areas empunji hino ko bakubasa ku participatinga mu by'ubuhinji n'uburiza ukujya mu bici tuyambeho ahakurebeka ngo twahinga ibyo kurya ibarari. Is that something that the World Food Program can also maybe look into and support any efforts around that?
So webari mnonga moderator. So ikibuzo cyawe ni kirungi. Kandi namazima nka World Food Program na UNHCR stile hemiringo yo kureba ngo programs zitu twazigitane neza government. Ati wareba nkechi bakweta Dr. Deep. Government ya resiri. So Dr. Deep noreba ngo naye kane korachi kane ne hwero mu mpunji. Iyo program naye keriyo. So nabo bakandi bakwata hamwe kureba ngo ebintu byokureba ngo ebyokurya ebintu nk'ebyobuyonjo ebintu nk'ebyokureba ngo environment yitu yasigara eriho abokuba nabo bakandi nibatekaho buri yokureba ngo babyara emiti bareba ngo wetlands ninge bishara bitu byaguma be protected so igionekere miringo namwe nutsima government nko kuba bakugambire UNHCR na World Food Program hamwe na government atuwazo mumpunyi twatwineyo office ya prime minister abono bakumekinga sure ngo impunji zine security UNHCR ne making sure ngo ababantu bafuna bahandikwa abo kwano haro kushanga bakugira ngo kandi abantu katakubamanya buri refugee ari mu Uganda bamumanya bakamuhandika kandi bihinaho bamuhire kubera so nka WFP nkuko yakigambire itwe turugayo tureba ngo go muntu uyija yafune cyo kurya boko banayija tine cyakumanya takumanya umwanya niguzanka he byo kurya nibiruganka tachesha bire cyo kunga so World Food Program iriho kureba ngo yamuhe cyo kurya kandi UNHCR yareba ngo yatekana abo kuba waza umbintu nkebyo kushoma ibintu nk'ebyamizi ibintu nk'ebyembazi UNHCR nene kurogo murimo nkabaza ibintu byo kurya no kureba ngo umuntu yatandika kwehwera egine mirimo ya World Food Program na nyenda jasikatereza mu abantu barebe ngo ibyo bitongore ntukora sta so itwe nka UNHCR na World Food Program ntuhwera government kureba ngo abantu abizo muri Uganda bafuno batungo butekana.
Yes, I see you.
There's a question you asked him. He didn't tackle the second part. You asked how do we involve the refugees in producing food for themselves, and it's a very good question because, as I said, our mandate are twinned. One is saving lives, the emergency food assistance. When refugees have come, they are desperate in need of food, in need of shelter, in need of livelihood, in need of protection. So that's the time when we make sure that you provide them with food. And that's why we give them food for up to a period of 1 year, supporting them. But we also have another mandate, which is changing the lives of these people that we have saved. That is where coming with livelihood interventions. And these livelihood interventions, we mobilize these refugees to work and produce on their own at different levels. There are those who are interested in farming. So we group them together and then we provide them with, working with the Office of the Prime Minister, they are provided with land. And then we provide them with inputs, group them, provide them technical support in terms of agricultural production and information. They produce their own food. There are those who are not interested in the cultivation. We call them off-farm, who are involved in processing, aggregation, all that. There are those who are involved in non-food, non-farm agriculture, non-farm production. Those ones are trained with skills like carpentry, bakery, all that. So it's a host. We call it self-reliance model. And the whole objective is to ensure that refugees, whereas they have come into the country in a desperate situation, but they need to settle and be able to be productive. They are energetic. So then we make sure that they're able to transition from being self-reliant from being dependent on humanitarian assistance to being self-reliant. That's what we call self-reliance model. So we are deliberately working with UNHCR, working with the Office of the Prime Minister to ensure that how do we ensure that this huge number of people do not depend on humanitarian assistance indefinitely. They need to participate in the government programs. They need to be integrated into the local community, and later on I'll explain to you what achievement we have generated as a result of that.
We surely come to that. But Mr. Roger, all this that he's trying to explain cannot happen in a community where the host community, if they are not very receptive of some of these efforts. Now, I know you are doing a lot of work around that in making sure that there's mutual living between the two parties, for the people that came from wherever they came from, and now Uganda is the place they're calling home for now because of the prevalent situations and where they came from. But how does UNHCR help in this? Especially because we also understand that some of these people that come were professionals. Some of them were doctors, others were lawyers. Is there a way UNHCR helps? And we'd like to know how it actually comes in the picture.
Yes, I think from what my colleagues have explained, it's mainly on the side of food and livelihoods.
Yeah.
But on our side, as UNHCR, we look at all the other sectors.
Okay.
And I must say, in this country, because of the very generous government policy, refugees are integrated from the onset into the public services. If you look at our response in education, our response in health, our response in WASH, all these responses are integrated. Refugees are attending school that are coded by government. Refugees are seeking medical attention in health centers that are coded by government, supported by government, with staffing, with medicines. UNHCR is just there to support and bridge the gaps when the gaps are. Host community, the same thing, because when you look at schools, you look at health centers, all these are attended by both refugees and host community members.
Yes.
That also is a way for refugees to be included, to be integrated in this country that is providing protection, but also security for them. So UNHCR is really investing in that. And again, if we take the example that Emmanuel explained, from the beginning, of course, UNHCR is leading. But as we move into the response, as I told you, government is leading the response now. And we were talking about the funding shortfall. What's happened this year is very remarkable. At the beginning of this year, many schools could not open. Many health centers could not operate because of the funding cuts. We didn't have staffing, we didn't have medicines, but very quickly, and I mentioned the DLGs, the DLG came forth and they moved staff around from one health facility to the settlement. They moved teachers from the host communities to the refugee settlement before other partners could come in support of that. So we see from that approach that we have, and also dictated by the government of Uganda, we have no other option than to bring together refugees and host communities. And for us, our message is very clear. Because of this situation, we have to go to more integration, more peaceful coexistence. And if you are looking even at our emergency response, yesterday we were in Nakivali with a mission, and we met refugees who arrived in this country 4 months ago. But they are already going to the host community to provide their qualification, their skills, but
they're giving service.
Looking for work, and then of course they bring back some kind of livelihood, and with that livelihood they can start a new life. They can take up their families. They can also provide for their building shelters, and they are really constructing a new life from scratch. And this will not be possible if there is not this kind of coexistence, peaceful coexistence between host communities and the refugees. And UNHCR is really promoting that, and we are supporting that. Of course, we are also working with OPM. OPM is present across the settlement. They are the one who are managing the settlement, and they are making sure that the bridge are built and they are maintained between refugees and host communities.
Powerful.
Mwami bo.
Yes, inakukwenda konjira.
Abokuba atwashoborireho akitokoko. Ngo kugira ngo mwami roje wor nyakore niruke. Kwenka yana geza kureba nko kutwagambira ngo turi amasiga 3. OPM World Food Program na UNHCR. Mwami Emmanuel yashoborire ebito binka World Food Program. Kwenko mwami roje yanayongeraho ngo nobuturiyo ntureba ngo amagara gabo omukufune byo kurya gaterera kwenka ka UNHCR niba making sure ngo amashomero agari omumpunji amarwaro harimo embazi kwenka yakugira ngo habwe bizibe bitubere tuyine bya sente kucendera obuhwezo kucendera government ekayamba abokuba bakabatine nabo sente zo kushashura abashomesa bayembashomesa omumpunji abokuba nibo babiri nibakireba ngo cyakora cyazo mumisho kwenka government eizire yakwata abashomesa abandi babiri bari umuri Uganda abamwe bace yabateka buri yakwata abashaho abari bace kuri abakene tushimangu no mu Uganda nabone bace kwenkaba kamba kwatare bashatu bya homwe bateka mu mpungire bamuzakora ki ati yanagambira ngo eji week tubere twine mission umwe ambassador wihangeri abiri ayizire kureba hati yakugira ngo tubentereba ngo abantu just abaheze myezi no mu Uganda kwenka nawe batandikire kugenda omunkaye umuhost community kureba ngo nabo bafuna iki bakora ki ni batwarayo bashashurwa nabo bareba ngo baba hamwe mbwenu so twakahurireyo kurwana ngogu yatero guti nicyo kibani bashobora kureba ngo twaba hamwe nk'abanya Uganda na bari.
Yes, I know Rusimba you have a lot to add, but the strategy that Uganda has is a progressive model, okay? And the question is it sustainable? Given the shrinking resource envelope, the aid is not enough. There's the fears. Are we going to be overstretched? Are we going to overstretch the educational services, health services, even the food systems? Are we going to overstretch them beyond repair?
Good. Thank you, Bobs. As you are saying, first of all, we really congratulate the government of Uganda for the liberal policy on refugees. In other countries, like I'm not going to mention the countries, but in some countries, which also receive some refugees, they are put in camps. They are put in a concentrated camp and they stay there. They live there. They are not allowed to get out. They are controlled. But the liberal policy of Uganda is open door policy. They allow them to come in and they live in a settlement. A settlement is just where to live. Just as you would have your own village, you come from some village somewhere. So the refugees also have a village where they come from, which is called a settlement. But the government of Uganda does not restrict or force people to remain in the settlement. Majority of them leave the settlement. I'll give an example. When we do a monthly food distribution, cash transfer, some of them come all the way from Kampala. Others don't even come. So majority of them, and you know we need to also appreciate that refugees are not a burden to a community, to a country. They are contributing a lot. These are young people. Most of them are young. They are still energetic. They are active. They have
them professionals.
Exactly. Some of them come and then immediately enter into the job market. Some of them are carpenters. Others are builders. Others are teachers. Others are doctors. They come and immediately enter into the economy of the country. And then those who remain in the settlements, what we are doing, the livelihood programs I'm talking about, we've tried to we have different programs that bring together refugees and the host community. For example, under the self-reliance model I'm talking about, it has 70% refugees and 30% nationals. There's another one we call AMS, Agriculture and Market Support, where we have 70% nationals and refugees only 30%. So these are programs that we deliberately design to make sure they benefit both the host and the refugees. So that the refugees do not turn out to be a burden to the community, because they also coexist. And that's why if you have heard, we've not had any serious conflict between the refugees and the refugees.
For all these years.
Just because of those deliberate interventions where WFP, UNHCR and the OPM work together and say, what can we do better to ensure that there is harmony between the refugees and the host community? Let me give you one good example. We have a project under self-reliance model in a place called Kashari, where the refugees and the host community are implementing a fishing project, a fish project. They have
fish farming?
Fish farming, aquaculture. They every season they sell about 10 million. 10 million they gain, they sell fish and earn about 10 million shillings. And they share the among the two. So when you visit, sometimes you can't even tell who is a national and who is a refugee, and that's what you are encouraging. And there are many of such projects. That's just one project I've given you. So that kind of coexistence, that kind of programs that integrate refugees are the ones we are promoting. And those who are not able to integrate within the settlement, they are free to go out and earn a living elsewhere, and it is working very well.
Thank you so much.
So with the shortage of funding, we think refugees coming into the country are not going to be a burden unless we didn't have such kind of programs that integrate them and also give them opportunities to live their living, to earn their living through different livelihoods.
I think this is a very important question.
Yes.
Uganda has an open door policy, very favorable protection environment for refugees, as you said. And of course, if you don't look at the system very carefully, you may think that it's going to be it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
Of course, we all, as Emmanuel said, we want to really acknowledge that this country has a very special way of dealing with refugees. We've been everywhere in Africa and beyond. The policy we see here are really ahead of many other countries.
Yeah.
And this is what we keep pushing for, making sure that because of this policy, government does not have any kind of, if you want, issues with their nationals. So
community.
what we are doing, in addition to what Emmanuel said, is also to mobilize. This is our role as WFP, as UNHCR. We are also mobilizing the international community, selling the open door policy of Uganda, making everybody to know about that policy. What are refugees gaining from that kind of open door policy? The freedom of movement, the access to jobs. This cannot be sustained if the government does not receive the necessary support to continue to implement those policies. And every day our work is to sensitize, to advocate, to bring into the refugee settlement missions, visitors from abroad. Yesterday we had the French ambassador here to see what we are doing. We also, this morning we received the UK Minister for Development. She was also here to see what we are doing, to see what are the challenges we are facing, and we are explaining all these challenges. The visit of the French ambassador yesterday made us to know that the French government is supporting the government of Uganda to provide water for their citizens, but also for the refugees. This is very important to see that other governments are supporting the refugee response here, and we are here to continue that advocacy for that policy to be implemented continuously.
All right.
But can I add one thing?
I see you all have what to add.
One quick point, which is directly related to
what
you
follow
asked.
up to.
Yes, exactly. And you also asked the question: how isn't this number of people coming to the country? Would it be a burden to the system?
The burden and overstretch the.
Yeah, I'm going to give you just one quick example of how much refugees are contributing to local economies. We are in the southwest, WFP Southwest. We no longer give in-kind food. We give them cash, what we call cash-based transfers. And for Nakivari and Ruchinga, we are giving assistance to about 157,000 people. And every month, we are giving them up to 5 billion Ugandan shillings.
That's every month?
5 billion. Only in Nakivari and Ruchinga, 5 billion Ugandan shillings, and most of that money is getting into the economy of Isingiro. Isingiro, And so, what is called for us, we are giving it to them as a safety net.
Yes.
But for them, it is actually an economic stimulus for the country.
But it could be capital
much of it they are investing. They are buying food and services.
Yes.
From the local people, they are buying matoke. They are buying. Actually, majority of it is bought. They used to buy food, but they're also using it for transport, maybe moving from place to place, buying clothes, buying from local traders. So all the majority of that, much of that money is entering into the economy of Isingiro and to the country. So you can imagine every month 5 billion, which wouldn't be there perhaps if those refugees were not there. So refugees are not a burden as such. They also, and that's the money we're giving them, but they're also, in addition, they're also contributing through other skills they are doing.
Okay, if you could just hold it for a while. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, Roger had mentioned something to do with the partnership also with district local governments, and I would like for us to shed more light about that and how that is helping you in this work that you're doing. Bob's Emmanuel Rusimba, Mwami Hassan Bwambale, hamwe na Roger Hulu, kandi muza kuganira aha bintu bitamunda muna mununga bakwatira nebye mpunji abituri kostinga omuchanga chito mbyanga bitu na munungo omuchanga chito cyaburangizo wa Uganda na no kureba okunabo nkabo bari kugice bayombeka bakatutwera bakati umuganda umukombeke cyanga icyo bari kwetumuka ahabwa hati kandi no kutwakubahwera kandi nabo bakatwera because it is peaceful quick. Let's take a short break. Go. Stay with us.
And that's it for today. Till the next episode.
Omuliro nguwulira mulingo mutima kukankana like drums. Kalakata, kalakata, enendongo eyakusabula. Mikono free your fire, free your fire, free your fire.
Looking sharp has never been this easy. Welcome to Bright Suits. Be your own label. Located at La Grand Mall, High Street, Barara, Level 2, Shop number 5. Right in the same building with Equity Bank. At Bright Suits, we customize premium office wear for both men and women. Plus, wedding suits, graduation suits, Kawunda suits, and more. Whether you're dressing for business or your big day, we've got the perfect fit for you. Call us today on 0751 075 108 or 0777 081 196. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Bright Suits and check out Taylor at Omurazizi on X, formerly Twitter. Bright Suits, be your own label.
Radio Swakura Hero, who mushanju mwakogo omuchishaika cheka obuturu kwa muri kiremya kabina mushanju muhereza omurundo gwetu sakabateri gumite mayeri tukuretira beshongo z'amamani omwihanga ebyane bikwenda nyugunyo ba DJ abakabi abaraptera muziki ebyenda bikakwetogota weno kabayanga yanga ntuzakaba n'ibihembo wiguga oteberwa no kugashura za rushaju reka tanga bisebehama ijo erebere nakawe ay bambe isha tukuri byafwayo otahamu nishije mutwaro kumukka kuti ogwa Uganda manya Radio West ni radio kashangwaho radio Rugeita Nganda omu myaka banamushaje mu buhereza Radio West mapure echine hero utabonuzi chajirwa Pepsi na nyekejo people sako. That's for them.
I'm called Awidi Isabella. I'm studying from Villa Maria School of Nursing. I've won a school fees with the MTN Momo. This school fees you win for a full year, which I'm very happy for it. I thank MTN Momo for helping me in paying my school fees.
We've paid all the fees for the year.
Thank you very much, because on Wednesday, the principal told me, look for my man and bring my man. I told her, me, I don't have man, and you have to wait until I get the money. But when I left our office, at 3, they called me that you have won the money from Momo. I said, how does it happen?
As long as you pay school fees using Momo, you stand a chance to win school fees for a year. Dial *165 *80# to win school fees for a year and more.
Linda mwabaze gweri izuba yabari wakora kuri mirongo twegitaho kandi izina ryanjye Bob Zgadabaho tuganira habikwatirine na n'intebe kanisa ezo kwanza zitebeho ukorebeka ngo abantu bari kwija nibasherura ubuhungiro mwihangarire Uganda babasa kutura kurunje konka batura kurunje na nito bari kutura mwihangeri ukureba ngo twembere twakwatanisa kandi twareba ngo hari bitongore bishate biri kwatanisa biri gukora nkamahega ashatu okubwambariye abanatushobora ari kutugambira ngo ekitongore cha World Food Program ekitongore cha UNHCR United Nations High Commission for Refugees hamwe na Office of the Prime Minister nibikora kwatinde kurebeka ngo umugogo wako konkana ni wene cyo gukora especially uri kutura omumwanya gutwayita host community obaherire kukatwagira ngo nabo nshanga ngo abantu aba bakwija abamwene babari abanyamyoga nibija bakora ibintu bitarimo na bimwe babahereza akasente bakatuma economy yitu kagiro kukatuyamba umuri nguri nkogwe tutantuza kuza umukahumuro nagenda mbaburize abikwatirine nano uku barukwatana na za government zitu ezebyanga especially in these host districts the district local governments I would like for you to shed more light on that partnership. How have they helped you to make sure that this comes into reality, but also how have you equipped the local governments to be able to deliver on this mandate? Let me start with you, Roger.
Yeah, thank you, Bob. I think this is a very important question. When you talk about the refugee response, the role of the district local government is very important. They are even getting more role into that response. You talked about the funding cuts, the funding reduction. One way of tackling that funding reduction is what we call localization. Localization is using the local actors to provide the services to the refugees. And in this region, the 5 districts that are receiving refugees are playing a very key role. And this is in all the sectors. We're talking about education, we're talking about health, we're talking about wash, and we are talking more and more about protection. I mentioned to you that at the beginning of this year, because of the funding cut that we have experienced as UNHCR, we could not open some schools in some settlement, but very quickly the DLGs came in and supported. And if you go to Isingiro district, you go to Chegegwa, to Kamwenge, to Changwali, to Chikube, all these DLGs are openly supporting the refugee response. And they are sending now more and more their technicians, the district health officer, the district education officer, to the settlements to support the response, assessment, but also guide the response in those very key sectors. How do we support the district? Very minimum, I must say, very minimum. For me, what the district are doing is not because we are supporting them, it's because they understand, as Manuel said, that refugees are not a burden. No. They are also contributing to the local economy, and I think they are using that understanding to extend more service to the refugee. And for us, UNHCR, we keep supporting the DL with very small things. Here we give a car, there we give a motorcycle, here a computer. But this is really to support their action, to help them move out of the district, to go to the settlement and meet the refugees. They are even going beyond that. I see in some DLGs, refugees are involved in the discussions with the district local government. Refugee issues are integrated in district development plan. And that's where we also support, to make sure that our assessment, the gaps that we have in the settlement are shared with the district, and then they just take them with them. We have few partnership agreement with some DLGs. Isingiro district is one of them. The other one is the Chegegwa district, and this is really to help them to support the education sector for Chegegwa. And here in Isingiro, we support them to provide more protection. In protection, I want to take 1 minute to explain this. Protection is provided by UNHCR through partners. But because of the fund reduction, we have observed staff reduction within UNHCR, staff reduction within partners, NGOs.
Yeah.
And of course, we do not have the same reach that we used to have when we have the previous staffing level.
Yes.
How do we fill in these gaps? We are now moving into what we call integration of protection services. What does it mean? The communities are going to be providing the protection services to the refugees, but also to the host communities.
Okay.
We have created what we call protection desks, where community come to meet the district social workers and share the concern that they have. That concern may be related to the program that WF is providing. It might be related to the program that UNHCR is providing. And from that discussion, that problem is referred and then addressed, and the refugee gets back a response, and that issue is solved. So a very good partnership that we have with district local government, and we want to use this this show, Bob, if you allow, to really thank all of them.
Yes.
They are doing a great job, and we will continue to partner with them. I know also our colleagues in WFP are also supporting the district.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Working with the district is actually a strategic necessity.
Okay.
Because we are talking about these settlements, say Nakivari and Ruchinga, where do they lie? They are in a singular district. You cannot just come and enter somebody's house without knocking.
The area of jurisdiction.
Exactly. So we have to work with them very, very closely. And as Roger has mentioned, we have, I think for all UN agencies have that, what you call localization agenda.
Yeah.
We have to have an exit strategy. We are not going to remain here forever.
Yeah.
So one exit strategy is now working very closely with the local organizations, local governments, to ensure that they take the lead. And for us, they take the driver's seat, and for us, we facilitate them to be able to succeed.
Yeah.
And that's what exactly we're doing gradually. We're not handing over everything, but we're moving very slowly. And so working with them is very close, very, very good.
Yeah.
And also they have each of these districts, they have what they call a liaison officer, a refugee liaison officer, who works directly with us on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
One more thing I want to add is, under the self-reliance model, the livelihood programs,
yes,
you know, the refugees and ourselves, we don't have technical capacity in some of these projects we're implementing.
That's right.
The districts are very helpful. They have technical officers,
yes,
who are given to us.
Yes.
Yeah, whenever you approach them, for example, you have one in charge of fisheries,
yes,
and an agriculture officer. Whenever we approach them,
district health officer.
Exactly, they come and provide those technical assistance at no cost to us.
Wow.
So that kind of relationship is great, and I also add my voice to what Roger has mentioned. We really want to thank him so much for the kind of cooperation and collaboration we are having.
Just summarizing, so district ntukora nabo n'abantu bo mutano munonga abokuba aho batari UN teru okubanza nibatwikiriza tukore emirimo yitu omu myanya yabo. So kandi nibatwera okureba ngu batuyambaho nko kuba bagira ngu obuhwezi kubakendire ba staff bitu bakendera. So kikumayisa hariho umwanya hati district neizamu ekavaringa gap ejo. So kandi noreba think to WFP tune na program enizo kweta NutriCash Zoom ejinene hwera abakazi abinenda n'abaziri kugira ngo umwana yakimyaka 2 ari kumuba kumuhereza kasete kakumuyambaho kandi nahite kushorora harimo abanyayuganda harimo n'abarefugee kandi abakutuyamba kugira implementing ni district ahubwo district itwe kuza gukora imyanya itari nka settlement age noine kugenda no wa district akwereka registering abantu ngwabo cyama nabari wagira ogwe nintumaya no mucyange iki kandi nawe ashimira mu organize. So nitwe bayendera kugira ngo ntusima district zone aho turukora uruga isingiro ukaza Chegegwa Kamwenge na Chikuru ntubasima munonga abo bwezi bakutereza.
Thank you so much. Shazi tuzonze genda niziruka, our time is fast spent, so I have the final question before we can pick phone calls. Noza gamba ho nitwe nabanogireba a screen noza kutera ho banyimo kace we're living in times of the Ebola crisis, yes, and we're talking about gathering people to give them food. Isn't that a scare?
Coming to schools.
Let me start with you, Emmanuel. How are you handling that?
It is a scare, and everybody is aware and putting in place measures to ensure that we avoid it, and that every we call them FDPs, food distribution points. There are sites where people come to get either cash or food. There are certain protocols. We are following the Ministry of Health Ebola prevention protocols supplied by the Ministry of Health. And what they do, the moment you come at the gate, you have to wash your hands. They take your temperatures, and then you are taken through a process of we make sure there's social distance. And standard
operating procedures.
Yes, and then we make sure that we've actually there are people called service providers, financial service providers. They used to have fewer staff, but now as a result of that, people would stay at the FDP for longer periods. But now we've asked them to increase the number such that people don't stay there for long. You come there in 30 minutes, you get your assistance, you leave. So that one is helping us to reduce overcrowding, but also ensuring that there's social distance in between. So that is helping us, and we are alert to the dangers of Ebola, and we are doing everything to prevent it.
Thank you so much. All right, that's self-explanatory. Is there anything you'd like to add?
No. We are just we are really contributing to the government response. We are part of that response, and we follow all the rules that government edicts, and we implement them. Of course, here in each settlement, we have a district task force for Ebola, and we work completely under that. You may also want to ask what is the situation in the refugee settlement, because also
in terms of the numbers.
Exactly. But there we also have what we call village health teams, and these teams are working closely with the district task force, our health partners, to ensure that they are aware of all the measures that Emmanuel mentioned, and they go by them. And of course, when we have a situation where we suspect somebody having fever or having the symptom of Ebola, that person is quickly spotted and isolated. Sample is taken, then and sent to the district task force. And then we have the response.
And as a result of those measures, we have had no case, no Ebola case in this region.
It's important.
Just one chimuchokwa materials ninga ebikwereka signs z'Ebola nazo ntuziteko mu community kubizusya ngo ware bo mutakushanati yaide signs umanyiso nkobo abantu bareba ngo babwetegereza kandi babureba ninkayo bakuza oko wakareba kandi to nko Ebola to kuzo wachama manza waronda umuntu wa health arakoreki arakuyanga
teresimu aha nambeje yo kureba aha screen yawe otugambere kurujiri uko wareba twashobora kibangu MP hana sho kwezi mujyana n'ubucendera kuko turebe tungorenka World Food Program na UNHCR bageza gukora chamani okurebeka ngu twatura kumukunje n'umwana impunjezi okurabira mu kutu ikwipinga itwa abantu ba host communities kandi ikwipinga impunji kwa kwene cyo kwenda kugamba nitwe tutera anamba niyo kandi okirashonga Radio West TV West kola wastere simu tuza kushaba ngu okira hanshonga otakaza kwetorora kirashonga kandi uzahere na TV yawe tuza kwata amasomache nka abiri ninga shatuguka rero tirukange number ya screen yawe aho note ibiri note mwenda note ina mwenda niyo kubasa kurabiraho okututerera osibira kasebo tukuriye izina lyawe nayo waterera June Kamwenge Zari na TV yawe nibwo turakureje Zari na TV yawe nibwo turakureje ikibuzo cyawe
nari nda kubuza
ego sebo
nenda kubuza
jeno misho
mkomu nasho nata yana ndakombura na kufuna
Okay, wana nomero mono gutunga. Kati yaba tubuze chirungi mnonga. Good question. If a national is looking for a job, maybe to work around this same setup and this partnership, can they get one? Kature one day. Is there any waterera? Oh, sorry, it looks like we lost that one. I believe it's for network. Garko jezo waterebe. Semi to noti mwenda noti inamwenda kwa kujireba screen ya waho. Tuzakwate ondijon komwe. Kubesha hazitu zajina nzirukanga kandi chino programming nunje mnonga itashamire kuba no favor. Izina lya bana batera? Okay. Ikato kama chibuze chu. Bwamba hasanga. Garuka mu chibuze chu.
So ikibuzo cyabuze n'ikibuzo kiruzi yatera kamwenje ubwo na cyumana amanyarwa amwaje na kimanyaje. So national imirimo ebitongore bikwani bikora umuntu nje kuko babagambye twine hebitongore ebyensi ebitweta roko NGOs harimo international NGOs harimo na UN kandi abantu bona bakwani bakora mu bitongore ebi abakusinga ubwinji abakukira 9 ari 10 n'abanashona n'abanya-Uganda. So nono reba adverts nibandi bazitekayo abantu nibaze bateka mu applications zabo na neze sha wazo mu nankage mu settlements zones n'abanya-Uganda bizwi nibahwera abarifigi kureba ngo bakoraki bayetegereza Uganda negendeta services nozifunota wagirota so ba nationals bakora kandi nabo nibaganyura mu college.
Now we've got to bring it to the end, gentlemen, because our time is really fast spent. Your parting shot.
Yes, my parting shot is as WFP we are providing food assistance, but we would like to see this food assistance being important for today. But we need to build resilience for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And therefore, that's why while we are building this, we are providing food assistance, we are integrating livelihood interventions to ensure that refugees cease to be dependent on humanitarian assistance, they transition into being self-reliant. And this is another thing I want to appreciate, and I want to appreciate our collaboration with our sister agency, UNHCR, the Office of the Prime Minister, and the partners, the one he has mentioned, who are implementing our activities. As the UN agency, we don't implement. We work through local partners to implement our activities, and hundreds and hundreds of jobs are sustained because of these interventions. And also because of the cash-based transfer that we are giving to the refugees. Their assistance has transformed or is transforming the economy to become an economic stimulus in the communities where they live. So I would like to also acknowledge that due to funding challenges, we've been able to cut significantly our refugee population that we are assisting to almost a third. We're currently supporting a third as a result of that. So this has significantly affected some households who are still remaining vulnerable, but not because of our choice, but because of the funding challenges. So I would want to appeal to our traditional and the new donors not to get tired, to continue supporting, because the conflicts are still there. We still have conflicts in the region, and not until those conflicts come to a standstill, that's when you can close refugee influx. So I want to thank them, and also thank you so much, Radio West, for hosting us. And look forward to continue work with you.
Well, thank you so much. Your very last message.
Very last message, really to thank the government for Uganda for the open door policy. We also appreciate the support we are receiving from OPM, from the DLGs. As Emmanuel said, we are in a very complicated funding situation, but we are adjusting. We are adjusting to this situation. That's why we are going out to work more and more with local organizations, local district governments, refugee-led organization, community-based organization. But at the same time, we are also shifting from purely humanitarian support to more and more development programs. That is why you see programs funded by by the World Bank, for example. Yesterday, at the beginning of this show, I mentioned the French government support to the water systems in Mbarara, in Uganda. Our appeal to these development actors is to come more and more into the play to support the government of Uganda to be able to provide those services in education, in health, and also in water. Same thing for the livelihoods. Our small programs, if I can put it that way, are not really able to make refugees really self-sufficient. We need to have bigger programs, and this has to be supported by development actors through the government of Uganda to provide this support to the refugees. And I want to thank you also, Bob, for this show. Thank you.
Roger Huru, thank you so much. Roger Huru is head of region, Western Region for UNHCR. Hassan Bwambale, acting head of field office here in Barara for World Food Program, and Emmanuel Rutimba, World Food Program Southwestern Head of Region. Thank you so very much. Nwenye na kutuara owa ndugu Jimmy Oriyo noreva okomore Kampala wako watu nechi ganiro chango munonga enshonga izoba ninye ndango wabende bakutera tocho mushonga sasa mwana zumuna munonga bakwatembi konda ba kamiishana n'ebindi ebirikwana bifa omubanyishe omuishenjero n'abanyishenjero abayinde. So over to you, Jimmy, please take it away.
TV West kandi tukwakira mu program yetu y'enshonga y'izuba tuhani yo mu Kampala preset abaganiza kuganira hanshonga zitari zona zugwe ezo twabaza kuba tukusakira izoberi kazi kuretera mu nshonga yawe y'izuba a TV West tuhani ya mu Kampala.